What's up? What's up? What's up? We back again. Season two of Movie Decode. Season two. We back. It's the fall. So we're gonna jump into it. More episodes to come. So we're gonna get into it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw this movie. If you didn't, it's a movie to watch. It's a classic. It's a lot to this movie. But what I'm talking about in Movie Decode is this movie was actually the movie to teach you how to be a failure. Yeah, this movie taught about playing hooky, cutting class, getting high in high school. It promoted gambling, car theft, juvenile delinquency. That's this movie promoted, juvenile delinquency, as well as Fast Young Woman. Yeah, so when we talk about a lot of things was taught, there's many movies, this stuff, but there's many different movies. We're just talking about Cooley High because we're looking at how every movie that was praised, every movie that was, it's embedded in certain people's minds. It's a raising on this stuff. So when I say by it's a raising, it's a lot of American classic films. They're really encyclopedias. They're really books. They're really studies. See, they give us a reflection on what's going on, but it also shows us reality. So this movie was filmed in 75, but the story is about the late 60s. But it was filmed in 75. And it also means this movie came out right around the time hip hop came out. And it's one of the first movies where they were showing people dying in. Yeah. And what I'm going to be showing you is how this movie applies all the way up until now. So anyway, it promote, failure. Because, he's a high school student. And then at the end of the movie, he gets smoked. But he was a successful basketball player. He was on his way going somewhere. So it was subliminally subplanting the minds of the city. So I'm pretty sure anybody from Chicago definitely can relate. Anybody from certain neighborhoods, because it taught that it's this narrative that people are going to try to do a lot for money. They're going to do whatever for money. They're going to have dreams to make it out. But somehow they're never going to make it out. And in the pursuit of them trying to make it out, they're going to be doing everything else. So that's why I say all this code in the movie. Also, code is this thing called having fun and always want to have fun. And that's what the whole movie was based on. Young men having fun, but it also shows the deviant behavior from young. And this teaching is taught. So it's no coincidence. When I was young, I was doing bad stuff in high school and junior high school. All right. And you're going to see, my other point is certain movies you're always going to see more than other movies. So, like I said, the movie promote cutting class. So you got to look at it like this. If you don't know how to do this stuff and you watch the movie, it's going to show you what to do. So this is what I mean. These movies are also teachings. See, it was documenting what actually goes on in Chicago, in the city, what goes on in the urban community, but it really was showing us the rebellion of education. See, if you look at it now, it's showing the whole Cooley High is based on neglecting education to have fun. And it's showing you how the street element always been in high school, way back then, and the same thing to this day. What else was they doing? Going to parties. What was happening at the parties? People was fighting. This also was showing us like right before it got real hectic with the firearms. But as you see, it promoted car theft. Now you got to remember this too, y'all. Back then when these movies came out, it wasn't like the way it is now. Years later, they would make New Jersey Drive because car theft would be to a whole nother level. After the 80s, 90s, 2000 car theft, but it was promoting it in 75. And not only stolen cars, but smoking weed in a stolen car. So that's why you're gonna see these were later on. This behavior will be the reason why later on a lot of people would get pulled over for no reason. And why you pulling me over for and all this stuff? Because they knew back in the 70s, people was riding around with firearms, smoking drugs, no license. They knew that was going on back then, called joyriding. But this movie was showing what was going down back then, and it also was to promote it for all years to come. What else? It showed the art of gambling. Well, you play CeeLo, craps, it was showing you about gambling. And it was showing us everything opposite of going to school. And not only that, they was doing the most. Hanging with the thugs. They was hanging with the high school dropouts. This also was promoting the cool guy and how it was the cool guys didn't go to school. And it wasn't cool to go to school. All this come from y'all. It was promoted, meaning it's not where it come from, but this way it was promoted on a movie, man. Straight failure promoted on TV. Straight in a movie theater. Yeah, and it was based on juveniles. Remember that part. So it taught how to cut school, how to steal cars, how to roll dice and gamble. Also, it showed how they was looking up the pimps. Supposed to be in school, they're on the street talking to pimps, all of that. Trying to get women. So it also showing you how in Chicago these elements always went on in the major cities. Showing you it always went on to this day. You know, to this day it's just now being closed up, but they showing you where a lot of this stuff started from and how it was. Get it? You always had knuckleheads, you always had pimps, you always had this mentality, y'all, of rebellion. See, when I spoke about certain things, like it was a time period, and then you're going to see throughout the years, people could have become successful. This is when it was glorified of having dreams to make it out the ghetto and make it rich and be somebody. See, that's when it became this fame chasing thing. But people had talent, but they couldn't stay focused. So it's all in Cooley High. All right, they were doing everything wrong, looking up to pimps, looking up to thugs. So it also showed the women. How the woman was throwing parties, having the men. They also showed the woman getting freaky in the movie. Or get it? They were showing humping. You know, y'all get it. Showing the woman how you supposed to do it. Had them parties, you know, sneak all to the back room. But they showing us this stuff was going on in the 60s, man. Because the movie's supposed to be in the 60s. It was filmed 75, but it's really supposed to be the 60s. Yeah, Motown, stuff like that. So it's just showing us that none of this stuff is new. It always went on. It's nothing new. But the movie was showing a lot. It was showing a behavior, y'all, that you see to this day. Reason why I'm saying that, because that's what was all in the movie, and that's what the movie was about. The movie also promoted something. I don't know if y'all remember, but this movie also promoted RAPE too. Well, you know the saying, no means no. It showed you how he was, yeah. It also showed you that. It showed you in the movie, that guy preached, he looked like he was, you get it? Yeah. Like he was desperate. Cause it showed how he was the most idiot one too. He was the main one getting gassed up to do everything stupid. And it showed in the movie he was the main follower. And it showed that he just wanted to be down. And he wasn't good with the ladies. It showed you that dimension too, how men that's good with the ladies don't got to do all that. He wasn't good with the ladies, so he was really highly aggressive, and he damn near did something to Beyonce back then. Yeah. So yeah. But that's her to this day. So they still alive. But that movie promoted RAPE. When you watch that movie, you watch that scene again with him and her. Yeah, he damn near, yeah. So now to bring it up to date. See the street dream? His dream was the basketball player. He was supposed to make it on basketball. He had talent. And he had talent with being a poet. He was a writer, which nowadays would have been labeled as a rapper, because there was no rappers back then. So he had talent. It's showing you how you could be from the community, certain neighborhoods have talent, but you get caught up in your environment, and you do everything wrong, and you end up in failure because all y'all know in the end, Cold Cheese, main one, got smoked in the end. And he got smoked by them. The same gangsters they were hanging out with, same ones that had something to do with them getting smoked. It also showed in the movie about snitching. So this stuff goes way back. But it shows how they had talent. They could have made it out, but they wasn't focused. So this would be the basketball dream to this day, and this would be the entertainment dream, whether actor, writer, musician, that's what all this is. Showing you that that was always a dream. And somehow it's never going to pan out. So yeah, that's why in the end of that movie, it's all about him dying in that big funeral scene. Because being that it came out in 75, it was shown in the movie that this is always going to happen to these people. Or people that live like them. People that play in these streets, think the streets are cool, they're going to always end up in that graveyard. So that's why at the end, he was reading his poems, but he was already gone. Because remember, too, also, they clowned him for his poems. Being that he was a writer, he wasn't cool. You know, so that's why he was always trying to prove to them that he was cool. So it showed following, it showed all of that. Like I said, looking up the pimps, over-sexualized, and it's all in the movie. So just like we see that, and you see how it's the same way to this day. That's how you know that a lot of these things in Hollywood, a lot of these movies, they were movies, but they wasn't just movies. Because you're going to see certain movies, they always wanted to be seen throughout all the generations. Example, there's a lot of movies came out this same year, but you're not going to see about them all, but they're going to make sure you see Cooley High. Because this was considered like the Boys in the Hood of back then. The Menace to Society back then. Get it? This is one of the coolest so-called black movies back then, but you're going to see everything that's in it, people was doing all the way to the 2000s, 2020s. So now y'all can see they were movies. Yes, they were good movies, but it was more to the movies. These movies now you can look at was really documentaries. See, this was a documentation of what they were doing in the 60s and 70s. And that's why I tell people, when you want to know certain things, all you got to do is go back in the history, because these films are documentations of what was actually happening. Not only that, how the streets looked. Basic stuff, how life was. They give you an idea, because like I said, it's all documentation. That's the whole purpose of Hollywood as well. So remember that these movies do more than one thing. Not only do they give you a story, they give you a vision, they also give you thought, perception, which also can be agendas, but it's also a documentation as they make money. So that's what all it was about. Getting the lifestyle of what goes on film. But it was to pass the spirit of Cooley High. And the spirit of Cooley High is failure, y'all. That's what the whole movie is based on. Even when they showed them going to the movies fighting. When Boys in the Hood and other movies came out, people was getting the shootouts in the movie theaters. People fight. Y'all know people's fighting in the mall, so I'm just showing you it goes way back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this stuff was this what I mean by this stuff was taught, and this stuff was passed down throughout generations. It was passed down because it was considered cool. See, that's why it's called Cooley High. Because the secret is everything they was doing was promoted to be cool. Because remember, it was cool to cut class. I know that it was cool. If you smoked weed and went to school, you was considered cool. If you drove to school, you was considered cool. If you had the ladies in school, you was considered cool. But we know none of that. That has nothing to do with education. Has nothing to do with one day after high school, life is going to be for real. This also when what happens, the teenage pregnancies. So it's all in the script, y'all. The fast life, the sex, the drinking, the parents not around, the mother come home too tired to work, kids gonna be born. Kids was born out this generation. But if they were showing you this how it's gonna play out though. See, this generation is gonna be some of the founders of what you see now, or if we talk about drill rap or anything we talk about now in this world, it's all gonna go back to what? Did we not see recently it was a thing where people, it was still stealing cars? All right. So it's nothing that you're not going to see. The biggest crime is sex trafficking. Back then it was called prostitution. It's in the movie. See, because it was promoted ever since back then, and before that it was promoted. So yeah, and you got to remember too, movies influenced people way more back then and even now. So they really got brainwashed by movies back then. Yeah, where they really start thinking they the characters, all of that. But it was showing us what was going to come. Just like throughout the years, the truth is, a lot of basketball players died. A lot of young men that were famous sports players, they did die before they made it to college. That started happening in real life. Just like we also know a lot of talented people passed away before their time. So it's all in it. So when I tell people like I don't watch certain movies no more because I already know the scripts, and once you understand what they're about, you're going to really get it. So like I said, certain things you just got to see for yourself. But I'm going to be getting into a lot of different movies, but this was something I had to be getting into, plus because it's back to school. So yeah, even a lesson to young people that's in school, dropping out, cutting class, ain't nothing cool about that. That behavior was taught, so one day you're going to be a failure. And that's what's going to happen. And it also showed when you drop out of school or you play around in school, your chances of dying early is also sped up. The risk of you dying early because you failed in school, you stayed in your neighborhood, and you didn't do nothing, that's a recipe to why a lot of people died. Because they didn't know that when you graduate from school, that can take you a lot of places. So that's why I say that behavior was taught 70s, 80s, 90s. We talking about 50 years. This movie is officially 50 years old, y'all. From 1975 to 2025, 50 years old. And rap comes out right after this. So it's just showing you a behavior that was taught, praised, and saluted. And that's my movie, Decode. We're going to keep it real simple. It's also called Wasted Talent, y'all. So these are the things that you can learn from the movie because it go both ways. You can see the bad, you can see the good, but you can learn from it because it is a lesson. And it also showed back then the hood doesn't love nobody. And it shows you also that the hood always going to eat you up, and that just was going to happen because it's a system of failure. All right, Cooley high. So on that note, y'all stay tuned. Much more movie Decode's coming. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and I'll catch you in the morning, 7 a.m. Y'all know what's up. We out. 1.